first-time home buyers are granted some money from the government that it's going to increase prices for homes. Do you think it would happen?
That's why prices have increased. Government policies, that's the problem. That's what the moderators, they never drill down. Young people, I feel so sorry for you. Really, I do. There's an economic dishonesty going on here.
Folks, you know that the ABC moderators were really bad on Tuesday night when even other legacy media outlets are calling them out on it, as well as calling out Kamala Harris for still not really answering any questions. And that's exactly what happened on CNBC in reaction to the presidential debate. So folks, if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. And that said, check this out. This aired shortly after the presidential debate.
Let me just ask then, since we're on the topic, Rick, how you feel about tariffs?
You know how I feel about tariffs? It's a bargaining chip. And many of the tariffs with China are still on. Once again, the moderators don't drill down on the two aspects of tariffs, but they do drill down on other areas that make no economic sense whatsoever.
But you don't think the tariffs raise prices? Just as a mathematical economic...
Listen, prices are going up no matter what, Andrew. Whether you do it on the tax side, whether you do it on the tariff side, our policies are silly. We can't be Santa Claus. All those programs aren't policies, they're promises that never get by Congress, and each one of them has a cost we can't afford because we've done this before. When you prepay and you make policies that don't make economic sense, you may think you're getting a benefit. Look at what we learned yesterday. Finally, wages reach 2019, but it doesn't reflect how much they've gone up since 2019. If you're out there and you're a young person, study up. You know, study up. All these superstars that made recommendations and such.
But hey, guys, let's not forget, Kamala Harris was raised as a middle-class kid.
Do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid.
What does this mean for the economy? What is her economic plan? I'm not exactly sure, but guys, she was a middle-class kid. You know, typical answer from her.
Such a timely fashion yesterday. You know, maybe they don't feel the pain of what's going on, but I feel bad that they can't buy houses and insurance. You think these prices of insurance are going to go down, Andrew? You think people in Florida that could barely hold on to their homes could afford 300% increases in their insurance?
There is no question about that. It's a very true statement.
Right, so why don't we talk about it? Why don't we talk about it?
Well, then there's other issues around climate issues and other things that are affecting things in Florida.
What issues did you learn last night? The ABC people were like a turkey shoot.
No, I guess it's more important, though, that the ABC moderators talk about climate change instead of, you know, issues like this, right? The real issues that actually matter. And notice as well, how hard did they try to grill Donald Trump? How much did they try to quote unquote fact check him throughout the debate? Constantly. Did they ever follow up on the fact that Kamala Harris herself never really answered the questions? She just gave rehearsed talking points and platitudes? Absolutely not. But if you want to sit here and say, no, all the conservatives who are just crying over biased moderators, you're just crybabies, you're just delusional. Well, obviously that's not true, but we also know that the trend of Kamala Harris not really answering questions, refusing to be clear about literally anything is nothing new. Okay, this is something that's been going on since the start of her campaign, and recently CNBC had a Kamala Harris spokesperson on the channel to try to talk about this, and newsflash, the same thing did not exactly go well, because as we will repeat here, Kamala Harris does not answer questions about anything.
I think she's been crystal clear on her values, what she wants to fight for, and how she will do it. And also, you know, she talks to people, right? She's reaching out to me. She's reaching out to businesses.
She hasn't talked to the press, Gina. I mean, I know you're a surrogate, but the American people are frustrated. The media is frustrated at the amount of access anyone's gotten to her for the past 41 days. I know you've seen that. We're finally going to have a debate tomorrow night, but she sat down for one interview that was taped and then cut down, and certain little things came out from it. But it has been a master class in avoiding any questions, and nothing's been made clear by her. Maybe it's been made clear in dribs and drabs from her policymakers when it comes out in print or on off a teleprompter at one of her scripted speeches. She's been impossible to pin down on anything because she hasn't given any access. The American people deserve it. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, and I hear you.
Yeah, and by the way, newsflash for those of you who missed it, that debate indeed did happen, and she still was impossible to nail down about anything, even when she was up there on that stage.
Would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings.
Okay, that wasn't the question.
This trend has gotten so bad, ladies and gentlemen, that even Gavin Newsom mildly kind of criticized the fact that Kamala Harris will not answer any questions.
We've been hearing that she's going to do more interviews for a long time now.
That's up to the campaign. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, I'm not here to advise in that respect. I think absolutely she should do that, but that's up to her.
Now, is Gavin Newsom certainly just vying for that 2028 spot? Sure, but at the same time, it doesn't negate the fact that what he is saying is true. It is a genuine problem. It is a blind spot of their campaign that they refuse to have any substance or really ever say anything. And of course, their assumption, the big thing this presidential campaign is banking on, is the idea that American people are really stupid and they're just never going to ask that many questions or really care to know who Kamala Harris actually is because she's a Democrat and she's not Trump. And they better hope they're right about that, because if not, you could see this seriously backfire. Now, for the question, the greater question of this video, and I asked this in the last one on this as well, is what exactly is going on with the media? Why does the mainstream media sometimes call out Kamala over this, sometimes kind of point out the fact, why is she not answering any questions? In my opinion, I think what you're seeing, the reason Jake Tapper did it on CNN, the reason that, even CNBC is saying the stuff that they're saying, is fundamentally because while obviously Kamala Harris has an ally in the mainstream media, they at the same time are incredibly frustrated with her because she refuses to talk to them, right? All of these media companies at the end of the day still are businesses. They want ratings. They probably kind of expect that, hey, we constantly run propaganda for the Democrats. The Democrats are going to give us media accessibility. That way we can make our money. That way we can have our access, whatever. But somehow, shockingly, with this presidential campaign, as you know from Kamala Harris, they're not doing that. Right? They won't give any of these networks an interview. And that's very interesting because they're also for-profit businesses. They also have financials to protect. And if you keep refusing to talk to the media, as Kamala Harris has done thus far, eventually some of these networks, I think, as you're seeing, are going to get a little frustrated. They're going to call it out. They're going to say, hey, deep down, is it probably a selfish reason? Yes, they do want the ratings. But at the same time, when you're relying on the idea that you can just run a campaign without saying anything and the media will just run propaganda, well, what happens when you actually piss off the media? Because that's largely, in my opinion, what is happening thus far. You're starting to see increased shades of that. And if she loses the media, what else does she have? She does not have an authentic base of support, considering she was literally installed as the candidate. What does she have? Does she have charisma for herself? Is she some type of amazing dynamic speaker that people really are inspired by? Obviously, no. The only thing, once again, she has on her side is the journalists. So what happens when you piss off the journalists? I guess we're going to find out, but you're starting to see more signs of them not being so happy with the way she is handling her press availability. That said, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.